yesterday we planned of having a question, but I found the stored procedure is a bit lengthy topic. So we are going to with the stored procedure for today. Okay. Like usual, we have our three tables. That is these customer, salesman, and order. So we'll try to make different kinds of stored procedure on these tables. Okay, let's start. Okay, the first.
So just one question, Sai Krishna here.
Yeah.
I was able to download and install the MySQL Workbench, but is there any specific server that I should connect to? Because that was not showing up, and that's why I had this question.
No, you can just create your own server, or you can work on the local server.
Okay, maybe I'll connect with you later on that. Not sure how to do that. No problem. I'll check that out.
I can send you the files. You can just upload them in your local server, and then you can also work.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay. Let's start with the first stored procedure. The first kind of stored procedure is a normal procedure in which we don't give any parameter. So by parameter, basically what we meant is whenever we call a stored procedure, we tend to give some values. So in this type of stored procedure, we don't give any values. It will just give you the output. Okay. Let's talk about the syntax. So whenever you start a stored procedure, you first need to give a delimiter and the kind of delimiter you are going to use. Start with what is stored procedure. So basically, stored procedure is a set of instructions that is stored. So it's a kind of stored function, you can say. So what it does is you make a query and you store it in a particular function. So for example, of procedure. Let's say I'm just storing it in a customer details. So for next time, if I have to run that query, I don't need to type that query completely again. I just need to run that procedure. So it will store it in the system, and whenever you call that procedure, it would just run that query. So it's like a subroutine. If you go for any other coding language, you create a subroutine and you call it. So you don't need to write it again and again. You just call that subroutine and it will do the functionality. So the stored procedure does the same function. Chaitanya, I hope this.
I got it. So that's clear. So basically, you write this stuff in SQL files, right? Typically, there are SQL sort of queries.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you sort of store it? How do you access it? Which ones can we access? And maybe things like that. These are some of the questions that I have on top of my mind, but you can just add.
Okay. Yeah. So whenever you go to this is our database KKSS. These are our tables, and here we have a stored procedures option. So right now I don't have any stored procedure, so it's not showing anything. So whenever you create a stored procedure, it will show you here. And if you want to see your stored procedure in the system completely, all you need to do is you have to do show stored procedure status. Let me remove this part.
So this is part of a specific database, right? Is that correct?
So if you create in a particular database, that would be the part of that database. So if I run this, if there's a command show procedure status, so it will show you all the procedure in the system irrespective of databases. If I run this command, so you can see KKSS, Sika, we have different. Yeah, we have different databases and different procedures.
Yeah, right.
So it will show you all the procedure if you want any. And there's another thing in this.
Swap, whichever is currently showing the store procedures, all those are made by you, or by default some store procedures will be there only.
Those which are made by me are only in KKSS. Remaining are from the systems.
From the system.
So I just made KKSS only. And if you want to see only your database, so you can just put a where clause in this command. So it will show you only KKSS stored procedure. So in KKS we have loop demo and set counter.
Got it.
And if you don't know the database, but you know a set of name of it. For example, I know my stored procedure name has set in that. but I don't know in which database it is. So you can do a like statement. So if I run this, so it will show me all the stored procedure which have set in their name and the database in which they are.
Okay, awesome. So, is it okay to assume that you can? So, let's say you are using a stored procedure. You want to use a stored procedure, and so as long as it sort of is there in the server, you can use that stored procedure. You can call that stored procedure. Is that right? So, for example, okay. So, from KKSS, I can call something in, let's say, training or in whatever Sakila or whatever that is, that other database. We'll be able to call that, correct?
If you're changing the database, I think you have to give the reference of database dot the procedure name.
Got it. But you'll still be able to call it.
Yeah.
That's the content. Okay, got it. Understood. Okay. So you just use that in a regular SQL statements, and it will just execute that stored procedure, correct?
Yeah. The function for calling is here. Like I have a set counter, so I just call this stored procedure. I have passed 2 parameters while creating. You decide the number of parameters. So for this, I just make 2 parameters, and I just call with these parameters. So I will it will just call this stored procedure. It will run the functionality which was stored in this procedure, and it will give you the result.
Okay, got it. So this may be a sort of not very relevant question or connected question, but can you schedule to call a stored procedure?
Scheduling, as of now, I'm not sure how to do that. But yeah, in the system in which I used to work, that AS400, there was a system called work query. So in that you can schedule any query or any stored procedure.
Okay.
In this, I need to find where we can do that. But yeah, there should be a possibility to schedule a stored procedure.
Okay.
Or any query.
Chaitanya, just to answer your question, I do believe we can. I think like what Swarna just said, we can schedule stored procedures actually. So in my first job when I was working with Accenture, I saw stored procedures in action where one purpose for which these were used were Microsoft sells software, right? It sells MS Office software, and there are tables which update the sales numbers for the software. So what was the type of software sold, how many units were sold, who was the customer, that sort of stuff. And they had a stored procedure where these details would be written into a particular table in a particular database, and this job would be scheduled to run at, let's say, 9 p.m. every night or something like that. So I think it can be scheduled to run at specific times of the day.
Right. Okay. And so the way, I think I'll just throw it out to you. I know the minor differences, but how is a stored procedure different from a function? Hey, Sai, thanks for that. Awesome info. Swap, that's for you. How is a stored procedure different from a function?
Basically, in function, you always have an output variable. But when you run a stored procedure, it's not necessary to have an output. You can just run a stored procedure and get a query output. Instead of a variable output, it will give you a query output as well.
Okay.
I will cover user-defined functions as well, and then we'll able to see what is the difference between stored procedure and a user-defined function.
Perfect. Yeah. Super.
Okay. One more thing in stored procedure, it's not always that you are running a query. You can just run a simple set of commands. So let's start with this procedure. So for the syntax is, first I have to give a delimiter. For me, the delimiter is this /. Then the syntax create procedure. You will give the procedure name. So in this, I am using in-out statement. So I will explain it later what is in-out and what is in. And here, then we have a begin. In begin, you just set what you want your procedure to do, and you can just end, and then put a delimiter with a semicolon. Okay, so what this procedure is doing, we have a 2 variable counter and ink. So what it does is it will add counter and ink values, and it will get come out of the system. So for that we have a command set, so it will set that value. So I have already created this procedure. If you want to create it, you just need to run this query. So okay, let me show you how to create it again. So let me drop this first. So if you want to drop a procedure, the statement is drop procedure and the procedure name. For this, it's set counter. So the procedure has been dropped. So if I run this again, so it will. So your procedure has been created. So now I'm just setting the value for the counter. So what it is doing is counter would be my output variable, and INC would be my input variable. So whenever I will call this procedure, what I need to do is I have to give a variable that will store my output variable and comma that input. The sequence would be the same which you defined while creating the procedure. So what I'm doing is I'm just setting the counter value as 1, and then I'm calling this function. So I'm storing the counter value at @ counter, and I just call it. So the value would be 2 because its counter value is 1 and INC value I passed at 1. So now the value should be 2. So if we run see the value of counter, you can see it's 2. So if I run this again, so now it would turn to 3 because the previous value of counter was 2 and I just added 1 again. So similarly, if I just change my value to 5, it would just 3 plus 5, it will give you the 8. So it can, instead of queries, data queries, it can just do mathematical. It can run mathematical calculation as well, and the variable will always store the value until unless you initialize it again. So this was a normal query.
When you say it will always store the value, it means that basically you can just call that number or whatever is the result without having to rerun the code, right? So it is it is like it is stored.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So until and unless you set that value to something else, the value would be the same which you calculated.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, now let's come to the simple store procedure. So this time this kind of store procedure doesn't have any parameters. So like in previous one, we had 2 parameters, in and out. So in these we don't have any parameters. So what we does is, for example, I have to just read a table again and again. So instead of doing a select statement for that table again, I just create a procedure. So I just in the begin clause I will just write the query. So right now I've just put I want to see all the tables, all the columns. If you want to see selected column, you just put your query accordingly, and you just create that store procedure. So it's created. And the other way, if you don't know the syntax of the store procedure, you can just click on this store procedure and it will ask you create store procedure. When you click on it, it will give you the syntax. Now you just need to put your query and your syntax procedure name, and it will create. Once you do it, you just need to click apply, and it will create your store procedure for you. So this is a way if you want to do from the schemas. So okay. So let's see if our store procedure is created or not. So you can see we have our personal details store procedure being created. So so my query was to select star from customer. So if I call this store procedure, it will give me the complete customer table. So in this video, don't need to pass any parameters and all. You just need to call the store procedure and it will do the job. So this is the simplest kind of store procedure we have. So any query in this part?
No, sir. You can proceed.
One quick question. See, when you have to have parameters, right? Yeah. So how do you define those parameters? Do you put that in the create procedure, or do you define that further? Just
yeah, basically whenever we have a parameter, So we have to define this in these brackets.
Okay.
So